Welcome to Immigrant. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable, a space where you're not going to be judged, a space where you can be authentic. And my hope and desire is to inspire and motivate everyone that click onto this podcast. So welcome to another episode of Immigrate. Welcome to Immigrate. Welcome to a space where you can be vulnerable. It doesn't matter what people say or might think about you. This is a space for you. Welcome to my guest, Chevonne Bryan.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
Chevonne.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. I know getting this podcast set up, it was like, ugh, but we're finally here, right? And I always tell my guests, feel as comfortable as you want and be vulnerable as much as you want to. And this is just a space you can just share because it's open for us to just share our experience with people and our listeners that they can be blessed by it. So Chevonne Bryan she moved to Canada, what, 2 years ago, right? I
Yes.
remember when I met her, wow, our family was they were so happy. I've never seen, they were so happy. The first time I met them, the husband was especially was so happy. He's like, oh, I finally here. And they have two beautiful kids, and the son was so nervous, but now he's so involved and he get all involved in the activities of the church. We met through a church. So they're a great family, and I'm always a pleasure to sit and talk to them. So we're officially doing it on a podcast, which is beautiful. So Chevonne, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so you have my name already. I am a Jamaican citizen, now a Canadian permanent resident. I'm a Christian of the Seventh-day Adventist faith, married for almost 13 years, and I have a son and a daughter. Um, Professionally, well, I was trained in Jamaica as a registered nurse, registered midwife, and public health nurse. Um, that's basically giving me total of around 18 years of nursing experience. And
Wow.
I hail from the parish of St. Thomas. That's considered the poorest parish in Jamaica, but that's another story. Um, I came to Canada on Canada Day, the 21st of July, 2021. So it's now 2 years, as you had said. I came with my little family. So we immigrated here as permanent residents via the Express Entry for Skilled Workers program. And the reason why we landed here in Alberta is because I was nominated by the province through the same Express Entry program. Um, I'm a new author of the book Faith Journey to an Unknown Land, and this book is available on Amazon. And I currently work casually as a licensed practical nurse and also as a route assistant in residential cleaning. I'm a YouTuber, upcoming YouTuber, and I have a personal channel which goes under my name and another channel, the Brian's Family Adventure. So we try to post things to encourage persons. And I'm presently a student um, pursuing the 1 year bridging program, Bridge to Canadian Nursing program at Mount Royal University. And lastly, um, I recently acquired my registered nursing license to practice in Canada. Yes, because even though I'm in the bridging program, the regulatory body made changes recently. And so I was able to sit the NCLEX RN exam. So I'm presently a new Canadian registered nurse.
Woohoo! Yay! I wanted to hear that so badly. Woo!
I would
Girl.
say I'm twice an RN because an RN in Jamaica and I'm now an RN again. So I'm twice an RN.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. We can say those words here because we share the same faith. That is amazing. Like your story is so beautiful. And I love how you said earlier you came with a small family. Ain't that a small family with two kids? It's not a small family, but um, your kids are very wonderful kids too. And I remember when you're talking about yourself and what you did, and remember sharing it, and I'm like, girl, you're gonna go places because the faith that you have, I've never seen anyone with the faith. I remember you said to me, I'm doing this and people think I'm crazy. But anyway, we'll get
Yeah.
into that. We'll get into
Okay.
that. But congratulations on becoming an RN in Canada. It's such a
Yeah.
beautiful, it is
Thank
beautiful.
you.
Been here 2 years and you're finally it takes some people so long, but God is so good and I'm so glad for that. So share, so tell us about your experience so far. Because what yesterday was officially 2 years since you have been here. So girl, congrats. I've been
Thank
here for
you.
a year, but yeah, congrats. But how has your experience been so far?
Well, the experience has been good. First I'll touch into why I really came to Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it started back in 2018 because prior to 2018, I was not foreign minded at all. Um, but my husband, he suffers with seizures, like for 38 years. And, I was like doing research as to what can be done because we have tried a lot of things like natural remedies, a bunch of stuff, and nothing seemed to work. So I was looking into what could happen overseas, and I came across Canada. And so when I saw the possibilities of what could happen, I said, okay, let's give it a try. Because I've always wanted to come to Canada. Like if I were to go anywhere, it would have to be Canada. So I started looking at that. So coming here, I would say my experience um, has been good. Um, I don't look at my experience as being, you know, it didn't go as oh I'd planned because everything that happened basically is what I basically expected because of what I researched, speaking to persons on their experiences, what I research on YouTube, and I try to put a plan. Like I actually have a book. I still have the book because I've been sharing with other persons. Like I have a book, have a plan. Read up on things so that when you come, you don't get culture shock. So I basically had my plan, and when we came, we stayed with a friend of mine. Her aunt took us in for a month because we didn't know anybody, no family, no friends, and it was like a last minute thing. Like my friend said, okay, my aunt is there in Calgary. I'll see if she can accommodate you guys. Otherwise, we're going to do Airbnb. And so we came, and she assisted us. Um, and you know, later on, we came to church, and that was like a whole new thing. Like the church has really helped us in terms of building our our family, basically. So it has been good, and most importantly, within a year of us, little over a year of us being here, the main thing why we came here was for my husband to get his health sorted out, and that was materialized because he had like one diagnostic surgery and two corrective surgeries within a year and a half, and so far he has not had any seizures for 10 months. So that, yeah, to me, like all the other things that happened, there are certain culture shock moments, but overall, Canada basically worked out for us. That's all I would say.
Or is working out, you know?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's working out. Yeah, it's not done.
Yeah. It's not done yet. We're still going,
No.
right?
Yeah.
Right. And and I remember with that seizure when we were praying and talking about it too.
Yeah.
This episode is gonna be more about how God has worked so much because to be honest, as I said earlier, your faith, the faith that you have, I admire that faith because I remember the first time you guys were talking about this and we were praying about it and stuff. It was that, and
Yeah.
and how your husband has transformed in the last 10 months with
Yeah.
no absolute seizure and stuff was such an amazing thing because I'm sure people had doubts that he would never got better, right?
Yes, and he has had seizures like twice per month, and to be 10 months without seizure. Like, persons might say, oh, but that's like major, major, major for us.
So that was one of the reason why you came here then to help
Yes,
him in his medical and stuff. But
yes.
the funny thing you say that Canada was always on your mind to come. Most Jamaican I know is always America.
No, I wasn't
But
really, and maybe because I applied to the US like 3 times just for regular visitors visa, and I did not get through. Like, yeah,
mhm.
I sort of despised going to the US after that.
Girl, you get it now. Go get it.
Yeah.
So other than that experience, what are other experience that you think you have experienced so far?
Well, the experiences has been good. I came across some challenges, which I eventually overcame.
Would you say
First of
those are complex challenges? What are the most complex of all then?
like to start with, to find a home was within our first month was a bit challenging. Without having a Canadian credit history,
Hmm.
it's like most person like you're seeing all these houses available, but then when you apply, it's like what's your credit score like, so that was a challenge, but thankfully we found somebody who was willing to look at the fact that, oh, you were a nurse back in your country. So I guess that told them that, okay, I'm not going to come here and that, like, not pay the rent and stuff. So um we got in. Well, God, I assumed, worked that out for us. The next thing was actually moving around without a car. I've been
Hmm.
driving for like over a decade, and to come here and having to walk, like to take bus and stuff, it was a bit of adjustment. But eventually we overcame, and after a while, like, it's as if I had gotten so used to taking the bus that even though I got my driver's license here in Canada after the first 3 months, it took me a while. Like, I felt scared to get my car. Very strange. Like, people are saying, but you're a big driver from Jamaica. But it's like the longer it took me to get a car, it's like the more scared I became. And
Hmm.
so if I didn't get a job that required me to drive, then
Hmm.
perhaps I would still not be driving. But then, I've done YouTube videos and, how nervous I was, and like my friends were saying, but you were driving a long time. But it's like a different sort of driving here from back home. So
Right.
that was a challenge for me. But no, I'm okay. I'm driving all around and it's fine. Um, but the greatest challenge though was for me to get licensed to practice as a registered nurse in Canada. But I sort of knew what would happen from before. I knew that because I started processing my nursing thing from before I even started immigration. And I had a friend that was telling me all the things that she had to be doing. And I knew the stories of all the nurses that I heard about that are not practicing as a nurse because of what happened. But I determined that I'm going to stick out with whatever they recommend me to do and whatever job I can start with, as long as it's not anything that affects my faith. I'm willing to start that. So I was telling persons, oh, I'll walk a dog. And I was talking like this from before I even landed in Canada. Like, if I get a job to walk a dog, I'll take it. If I get a job to work in a fast food store, I'll take it. And so when I came, the same thing happened. I was sending out applications, and then the next shock that reached me was when you're in Jamaica, you see on Indeed job bank that there are so many jobs in Canada. And then I said, okay, when I get here, maybe I'll get them. I come here and I'm applying for a bunch of jobs and I'm not getting anywhere because Canada seemed to be, apart from recognizing your credentials, they are top on Canadian work experience. So I was sending out a bunch of applications and person were saying, but you're a nurse, you can get a job at a nursing home or something as a health aide or something, but it was just not working. So the first job I got, I did for one day,
Mm.
and that was to solicit funds for charity. I felt so enthused. Oh, I got a job, like that was within the first month, and I just managed to do it for a day. Like, I was walking around and around and trying to seek funds for charity, and people were like turning us away. I said,
Mm-hmm.
oh no. And yeah, so I started applying, and it took me like 3 months to get a job. And this job is in cleaning, like cleaning houses. And I can recall when I sent out my application, I said to I just emailed the company and said, please do not look at my resume. Because, of course, all my resume said was nursing, right? Please do not look
Mm-hmm.
at my resume and not give me the job. I need this job.
Right, right,
And it's that seemed to work. And they called me and they said, well, we know it's not the same as nursing. And my way of looking at it, I laughed at it, and I said to them, well, it's sort of nursing because it's ensuring a clean, safe, healthy environment for persons to live in. And that's how I looked at it. And yeah, it was like crazy. And when I talked to like my friends and family back home, like they were saying, oh, imagine big public health nurse gone to Canada, gone clean house. But I said, well, you guys looking at it that way, I'm not going to be doing this forever. I'm starting out my nursing thing. And then eventually I was eligible to do the licensed practical nurse exam, and trying to get a job in what I wanted. That was another challenge. I did
right,
3 months working in neurosurgery because of my husband's situation. I got a position there, but it was just not who I was, so I could not stay. And I applied out, got something in public health, but
right.
working as a practical nurse. But I was not able to get a permanent position, so I was working casually. So whenever they have
Right,
slots, I would take. And so, even though I'd left the cleaning business for a brief while, I had to go back to it just to like fill the gap, make sure that I always had money coming in.
right,
And that also was met. Person were saying, but you have a LP and you can always apply. I said, I've been applying, so instead of me just sitting down, I'm going back to do cleaning on the side. So I clean some days, and
right,
I do. And I just look at it that, it was a good experience for me to actually do something different, um, different from nursing. And
right.
it's the background that you're not going to be doing this forever. And I prepared my mind for this mentally before I came to Canada.
Mm,
So yeah, yeah, it was just all about. And I realized that there are persons who are doctors, different high positions back in their country, and this is just the way of life of Canada. The only sad thing is that some persons give up, and so they are
mm,
forever working at a lower level. But I wasn't about to give up, so I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was required to do the bridging program, which is just 1 year.
mm-hmm.
Some persons are saying, oh, you have to go back to school to do nursing all over again. I said, no, it's not all over again. It's just 1 year. And that
Mm-hmm.
1 year is going to fly off very fast. And oh, I look at it, at the end of it, I think I'm going to be more knowledgeable than some of these nurses here because I have Jamaican training and experience. I know I'm coming to learn the Canadian way. So to me, I think it will actually benefit me. So right now, I have the Canadian license. I'm seeking job opportunities where I can work casually because I intend to finish my final semester in the bridging program because I need to have the Canadian certification. And that's again, I have some of my friends saying, "But you girl, you crazy because you can just drop out of school." Of course, there are some of my classmates who got their license and have dropped out because they are RNs now. But I'm just gonna stay the course and
Mm.
finish my final semester. Yeah.
Girl, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy to come here and share that because most of what I'm hearing you're saying is you're not giving up.
Yes.
You're not giving up. And it's true. You said something profound. A lot of people give up. And I think they give up because of one, finance, and two, no faith.
Yeah.
Because I've learned about faith since more about faith since I come in this country. And
Yes.
it's not easy because you have to have that mindset of, you know what? The shift in your mind. That
Yes.
shift of saying, this is what I want and I'm gonna make it regardless. So how do you think you have overcame all that? Like I know you haven't overcame it, but you said that I think most of what you said is like the mindset, changing your mindset, right?
Yes.
Of knowing that it's gonna be hard, but you're gonna stick it out. right? So what would you tell your 14-year-old self, or probably your 20-year-old self, to say? What would you tell your 20-year-old self right now?
Well, I would say, I would tell myself, like, believe in yourself. Because a lot of times I tend to doubt. My mother will tell you, and it's like persons were saying, really? Like, I was a person that always worry about everything. So I would say to myself, believe in yourself and strive for excellence and never doubt God, because a lot of times when I worry is because I have doubts. And so, yeah, that's what I would tell
So
myself. Like,
that's what you tell your 20-year-old self, because your 20-year-old self probably wouldn't believe that you would be in Canada,
no, no.
and get married and your husband would have been healed from that. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing I would drop in, sometimes it's not good to listen to people,
Yeah.
because your story is different from everybody else's story, right? Your story is your story. And sometimes listening to people can also shift that mindset. But based on what I'm hearing, you didn't allow anybody to shift your mindset. You
Yeah.
had that goal and you focus on it, and it doesn't matter what anyone said, you focus on that. So, what would encouragement would you leave with someone who want to leave from Jamaica? Because we have people from Jamaica listening.
Yes.
um, what would you tell them? Like Jamaica, anywhere. We're not just limiting to Jamaica, but someone wants to move to Canada. What encouragement would you tell them in just your 2 years you've been here? Because you've accomplished so much.
Yeah. So what I would say to them, know why you want to immigrate to Canada and or anywhere else. And to me, it's not just about making more money, because that was not the reason why I wanted to immigrate. So know really why you want to immigrate, and then when you get here, don't forget that. um, Prepare your mind mentally that you'll have to perhaps start at a lower level professionally, but don't give up, right? And if you're required to do further studies, it perhaps might just be a few months, a year or two. Just look at it that at the end of it, you're going to be more knowledgeable, and stay focused. Do not listen to negative people, and
Yes, girl. Yes. Love
yeah,
you, say.
basically launching in faith, because the book that I wrote, Faith Journey to an Unknown Land.
I'll be dropping it
um
in my link too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Faith Journey to an Unknown. I started writing this book from I started my journey, because my plan was not to publish the book basically right away. Like I was saying, I need to record what was happening so that my children, like, if later on they take for granted what we have accomplished, that they would see what we went through. And yeah, like, persons were saying, you published this book like around 2 months after you landed. Like, when were you writing this book? Like, I was writing this book like on my journey. I wrote the last chapter when I came here. So I would say launching is in faith is it's not just a talk, it's like a practical thing. And lastly, don't forget God. um you know for me, I've never taken a plane before, right? Before coming to Canada. The first plane I took was from Jamaica to
Mm.
here. And yeah, don't forget God. And when some persons, when they come overseas, they tend to forget God. But to me, this is when you actually need him. And going back to what you said, is like coming to Canada, this is where my faith actually reached a level. It's still in progress, because of course there are times when I still get down. My my nature of worrying comes back, but I try to, like, have a rule, like within an hour I want to, like, overcome this feeling. Like, I say to my husband, let's give me some time, let me try to reconnect with God and refresh my memory, find something to think about, to thank God for. I'm going to come out of this feeling, because it's a struggle to get out of worry and be a faithful person. Yeah.
Hallelujah. It is so true. It is so true. What you shared in the last couple seconds there, it's so powerful. It's so hard after coming out of a struggle to be faithful Christian. It's true. And I know we have spent so much time talking about God, but I want you to hit the last note. How has God, like, just give me, how has you see the God has helped? And I know your husband journey has been one of the way you have seen God. How has God helped you overall? Because you've
Well,
mentioned God so many times, but just in a small snippet, how has God has helped your family to just continue to grow?
God has really helped us, in building our faith. Providing, surrounding us with newfound family, friends from church, just providing these people, like even the way how we even got our furniture and all these things in our place that we didn't buy, like God just like just showed up basically, and I'm just thankful to him for the opportunity to actually exercise my faith and try not to worry as much as I used to, and also for me to be an inspiration to persons, like sometimes I'm tempted to not want to share with persons what's happening, you know um but like each time I share to persons, like they will say, wow, you're such an inspiration, you have given me hope. Like even if
Mm,
that could happen to one person, you know um it's a blessing to me, and it gives me strength to go on, because like up to yesterday evening I was talking to a friend, and she was telling me how down she felt about a situation, and me, who are always I mean, who usually worry about things, was there encouraging her. And some videos that I did on my personal YouTube channel, like I go into it and say, okay, let me find the one that I did on faith and send it to her. I sent another one that I did on encouragement, and she was saying, thank you very much. So at the end of it, I said to her, what you just said just gave me more encouragement to do more of these videos, because there are persons who are very negative. They perhaps think you're doing this because you want to make money, off
right.
YouTube. Like that's the least I'm thinking about.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
but sometimes you're tempted to say, like and subscribe my channel, but it's like it's
yeah,
not really about that. It's like if I could reach just one person and that one person
mhm,
can turn their life around, I think
right.
that's very important. Yeah.
That's amen. Amen. And just share three words we'd like to share with people before we leave today. Like, what three words would you like to just leave?
Three words. Faith is actually one. Um, Faith, believe, and trust. I guess all of that just wraps around faith, basically.
Yes.
Having
Thank you
faith,
so much.
believing, and trusting God.
Thank you so much, Shavini. You have also been an encouragement to me. I'm so thankful for your interview today. Your words are really encouraging and empowering to young people because you're not old.
No, I'm not yet 40. I'm not yet there.
Yeah, exactly. So for us as young, and we're in the same age group where you can accomplish anything in this country. It's just you just have to have a shift in your mindset. And
Mm,
once you come here with a mindset of wanting to grow and wanting to accomplish things, you can do it. It's gonna be hard and it's gonna be tough as we're listening, but that's not what we're hearing to share. We're hearing to share that Canada is a beautiful country
yeah,
and you can accomplish anything. This country, that's one thing I love. Anything you want, you can accomplish it. The sky's the
yeah.
limit here.
Yes, and we
And
did not have to pay anything, for my husband to get his surgeries. We did not have to pay any money because we're permanent residents. So that's the next advantage of being here.
yeah, it's just so beautiful and continue learning, continue growing in this country. And we never know, we'll probably come back for part two of your story as your story as getting more developed. And God has bigger things in store for you and your family. I know that for sure. And
Yes,
just
and I
continue
just
to
want to interject. Our family YouTube channel is Brian's Family Adventures, so you can look at that channel. It highlights my husband's journey throughout his surgeries and other things about Canada adventure.
and I will put it in my link, my bio in this when I'm dropping it on Spotify. So wherever you get your podcast, you'll hear it here. But yeah, thank you again. And it's a pleasure having you this afternoon. Just taking time
Thank
out of your
you.
busy schedule to just chat with me.
Thank
So,
you very much for having me.
all right, thank you.